What up, YouTube? Here with a post-fight video of the Robeisy Ramirez versus Isaac Dogboe fight. Now, this was for the vacant WBO Featherweight World title, which was vacated by the former WBO Featherweight champion Emmanuel Navarrete when he decided to move up to the Super Featherweight division. And I don't know if this is quite relevant, but Dogboe's only losses prior to this fight was to Emmanuel Navarrete, one via decision, the other by TKO, and those were the only defeats prior to this defeat versus Robeisy Ramirez, who had won the fight via unanimous decision and became the new WBO featherweight champion. And I had this fight score 117 to 110, and if y'all base this fight off of how I had the fight personally scored, then it would go to show that this was a one-sided fight. And to sum up what happened in the fight, it was exactly that. As the unanimous decision, the official judges had this fight score quite close to how I had it scored as well. And in the beginning rounds, it was quite competitive. Isaac Dogboe being the shorter fighter, he tried to close a gap between the two, and he was relentless with his attacks, and he was very aggressive, adding pressure, and was trying to work off of volume punching, while Ramirez was more on the technical side, being the taller fighter with the height and reach advantage, try to create distance between him and Dogboe. And he tried to time and counter and be accurate and sharp with his shots and try to catch Dogboe coming in whenever he tried to close a distance between the two fighters. And it wasn't until the middle rounds that's when Ramirez started to run away, and that's when this fight started to be more one-sided, as Ramirez was able to time and measure the distance very well and telegraph the attacks, and Dogboe's lunging in to attempt to close the distance between him and Ramirez. And Ramirez displayed very good technical abilities as the fight went on. His ability to time and catch the rhythm of the attacks and the patterns of Dogboe that Dogboe did to try and set up his offense, because he had to close that gap to let off his shots. And Ramirez, he had the more superior footwork, and him being a southpaw, he would have the better positioning when it came to angles and having better foot positioning to land his attacks in this fight, for the majority part of it, that is. And Dogboe, whenever he would look for openings, is when he would catch Ramirez off balance and off footing. That's when Dogboe started to step on the gas pedal. However, as the fight went on and the sharp, accurate punching of Ramirez started to wear on Dogboe, Dogboe started to let off the gas pedal and started to show respect for Ramirez's power and technical abilities, and his ability to counter and neutralize the aggressiveness and the pressure of Dogboe as the fight went on. And another impressive factor that Ramirez displayed in this fight was his punch output, his ability to change levels when it comes to putting his punches together. And you look at the punch stat numbers, his connect percentage was impressive as well. And it wasn't until the later rounds when Dogboe started to step on the gas pedal. That's because him and his corner knew that Ramirez started to run away with the lead, and he was down on the scorecards by a wide margin. That's when he started to become a little desperate and started to get aggressive and show that same pressure that he was showing in the beginning of the fight. However, in the final round, Ramirez would score a knockdown, catching Dogboe coming in with a swift counter uppercut, and that was, I would say, the most successful punch that Ramirez utilized in this fight. And he was catching Dogboe coming in with many of his shots whenever Dogboe would lunge in forward to try and close that gap, that uppercut with Ramirez being a taller fighter worked like a charm for him in this fight versus Dogboe. And Ramirez, he's got a decorated amateur career, and now with this win, which was a good look on Ramirez's part, this definitely was a performance that stamped him as a legit champion in the featherweight division with a impressive performance like this. And the featherweight division doesn't have any unified champions amongst the top of the division right now. There's Mauricio Lara, who is a champion. There's Josh Warrington. There's Leigh Woods. There's Michael Conlan. There's good fighters out there that Ramirez could have some more key matchups against to defend this WBO featherweight title. Now, I know Ramirez got a fight coming up defending his WBO featherweight title for the first time. I forget who he's defending the title against. It's coming up, I think, in like a month or two in Japan versus a Japanese fighter. I think his name is Shimiya or something like that. However, if he successfully defends his WBO featherweight title in his next fight, there's the IBF champion, Luis Lopez. He could go for a title unification bout there. There's Mark Magsayo, Figueroa, plenty of high-level fighters amongst the featherweight division, and those that compete at the top of the featherweight division that Ramirez can have, as I said, more key matchups against to defend his WBO featherweight title against. And now with that being said, y'all let me know what y'all opinions are from this fight that y'all saw with Robeisy Ramirez and Isaac Dogboe. Comment, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And that does it for this video, y'all. I'm out of here, and peace.